Hello. um, as usual, I'm going to wait until somebody comes on here to tell me that my audio is good before I start talking about tonight's topic. I apologize that I'm like almost an hour late, but I figured it was better to get on here late than not at all. So I will wait for somebody to let me know that my audio is good. And as usual, welcome back to Common Ground. My name is Catherine Vitale. I am a candidate for Boston City Council at large. My camera is mirrored, so it's hard for me to point to things. I am streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you are watching the replay, please make sure that you comment, share, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is peoplespressmedia.com. We're trying to get up to 1,000 followers. I'm just going to wait for somebody to come on before I go. If you're watching, please let me know if my audio is good, and I will start the conversation. I'll check my own audio then. Oh, I can't check my own audio. Oh. Yes, I can. Okay. So, this show is called Common Ground. I stream live. I was streaming live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 p.m. But I got crazy busy collecting signatures to get on the ballot for Boston City Council at large. And I am finally on the ballot. And campaign life is still crazy, and it's only going to get crazier. But I'm trying to stay consistent with coming on here at least once a week. Around 10 p.m. I know I'm really late tonight because I was at a neighborhood meeting. And I wanted to make sure that I got on here tonight because there was a specific issue I wanted to talk about, especially after having our first candidate forum last night for all the Boston City Council at large candidates. If you are not familiar, or especially if you live in Boston, it is municipal election year, and we have 13 city councilors. There are 9 district councilors and 4 at large. At large is the citywide councilors, so they represent the entire city, and then there's 9 that represent certain districts of the city. So I am running for one of the 4 at-large seats. I had to collect 1,500 signatures to get on the ballot. Then those signatures need to be certified by the elections office, and all that happened, and I am on the ballot. There's 8 of us on the ballot for the 4 seats. 4 of the candidates are the incumbents, so it might be tough for an outsider to get in this year, but we're going to try like hell. I was the first non-incumbent candidate on the ballot, and then 3 of them came after me, and one of them is Sean Nelson. So we'll probably be doing a lot of campaigning stuff together. And we also have Padma Scott, who's collecting her signatures now to get on the ballot for District 7. So going into what I want to talk about tonight, the housing issues in Boston. Once again, as I always say when I'm talking about issues, is that if I get the facts wrong, I'm sorry. I would love to be corrected. Please let me know if I get something wrong. Everything that I talk about from the heart, and not a script, unless I write it myself to make sure that I don't forget to say anything that I wanted to say. So please forgive me if I don't sound too articulate. All right, so I honestly don't even know where to start with the housing issues. So there's a few kind of like subtopics that come along with housing. We got to talk about affordability. We have to talk about homelessness. We have to talk about vouchers and subsidized housing programs. And we have to talk about development. So first and foremost, affordability. I don't think that it's completely clear what the definition is of affordable when we're talking about our local government, because you hear them say these buzzwords all the time so much that they like lose their meaning, right? So everything always when they talk about housing is about creating more affordable housing, right? So my first question is, affordable to who? Market rent anywhere in Boston, as far as I've seen, is not affordable, period. Unless you're making a very high 6 figures a year, or have multiple incomes in the household, you can't afford to live in Boston. I feel like most Bostonians cannot afford to live here, or have moved out, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's having problems trying to live here, except for the people that are coming in from outside of Massachusetts, and people that have a lot of money, or people that have great paying jobs, or government jobs, right? So I myself am on Section 8. Thank God. I've been homeless 3 times over the past 10 years, living in homeless shelters with my kids, and which is amazing because I have worked my whole life. And I should not be in this situation. Not that I don't take responsibility for the decisions that I made in my life that got me here, but when it's been a struggle for me for over 10 years, as somebody who works and works hard and has had relatively decent paying jobs, it's pretty crazy that I have to worry about housing stability, and then I have to have a voucher. And I wouldn't be able to live in Boston if I didn't have my voucher. So, and not to mention that I have a voucher because I have kids. If I didn't have kids, then I would just be asked out, basically. That, if you're just an able-bodied person who has no minors in the household, or no addiction issues or disabilities, then unfortunately the city doesn't really have many resources for you. So they have these subsidized programs, right? They have like these affordable housing units where if you make under a certain amount of money, then you qualify to pay less than market rate rent. And, it all depends on what your income is, what you're going to pay. So my issue with vouchers and subsidies is this, right? It's not that I don't think that they should exist, because like I said, if they didn't exist, I wouldn't be living in Boston right now. So I do believe that, the assistance needs to be there on some level, for, when people have financial hardships or run into, bad family situations and stuff like that. Some there it's helpful to have some type of safety net to help you get back on your feet. However, these programs are not designed to get people on their feet. They're designed to make us dependent on them being the programs, the government, the establishment, and keep us content living in poverty. Because, if you have everything that you need, if you have all of the necessities, and you don't have to go out and do anything extra to earn those things, or, you're basically like, not having to worry about paying rent or paying for certain things because the government is helping you, then there's not really a lot of motivation to become self-sufficient. And I am speaking from personal experience, so I'm not judging anybody else that's on assistance. These are my own personal opinions, because based off of my own life experiences. Becoming dependent on public assistance is really dangerous, because at any point, if you break the rules, regulations, or step out of line, you sign a contract when you accept these benefits. You agree to everything that they say. At any point, they can add rules in there, and if you don't want to comply with those rules, then you might get shut off. That's dangerous. And there's not much motivation to go out and get a job, especially if you're in a situation where the only type of job you could get is a minimum wage paying job, or a lower paying job, something that is not going to afford you the life that you would like to be living. So I worked at Dunkin' Donuts for 14 years. So say I was a manager at Dunkin' Donuts for 14 years. So say I went back to managing at Dunkin' Donuts, which I can't do because the schedule is impossible with my homeschooling my children and not having anybody at home to help with babysitting or homeschooling or anything like that. So I can't do the Dunkin' Donuts schedule anyway. But if I were to be able to go back and do that job, I would be walking into an okay paying job. I would say decent. I would say okay. It's more than minimum wage. Okay. But if I walked back into that job, I would be starting a lot higher than most people walking into a brand new job, right? But I still can't afford my rent. I still can't afford food. I still can't afford health insurance. So there's literally like no incentive for somebody on assistance to go out and get a job. Because as soon as you start bringing in income, they start taking away benefits. There might be, some instances where you get like 3 to 6 months of bringing in income before they shut you off. But either way, at some point they're shutting you off. And regardless of when that is, it's always way sooner than it would take somebody to get on their feet. So it almost doesn't make sense to get a job if you have assistance. You would be working for free. You'd be working to pay all of your money into bills, and you'd be able to save nothing. So that's how I feel about subsidies and vouchers, is that they're created to keep us dependent on them and keep us dependent on the government to help us, so that the government has complete control over us. Now, I heard today about, now I've been showing up to as many like neighborhood meetings that I can find in all the neighborhoods across Boston as I could while I'm campaigning, and trying to meet people and get my name out there and speak my mind about whatever issues they're talking about. And, I think housing is probably the biggest, or one of the biggest issues that we have across the board. So sorry, I don't like this camera angle. So pretty much at every meeting that I've gone to, there's been some talk about housing or development on some level. So I've been speaking out a lot against the major developments that are popping up all over the city. They're turning us into, I mean, they want to turn every neighborhood into like what you see in Chinatown, downtown Boston. These high-rise buildings, these massive developments that have all the amenities inside the building. Probably the South Boston waterfront is also like this. I've never been over there though, to be honest with you. So I don't know what it's like over there, but I assume it's probably like this. I know that I have a friend that lives in a building in Chinatown, and these buildings, the units look really nice. Like luxury units, they're beautiful. And of course, if you're up there, then you have a great view of the city, right? And they have all the amenities. You have a gym in the building, you have like a conference room, a function room that you can use for parties. You have on the ground floors of these places, they have retail space. So they might have restaurants and Starbucks and maybe a Target. All of these big corporation companies that you can shop at, a grocery store, and pretty much every single thing you need is within 15 minutes of your home. So that's the plan, is to turn every neighborhood into a 15-minute city. If you've never heard of a 15-minute city, please don't take my word for it. Go look it up, and please dig deeper than a simple Google search, because most people that are probably following me already know, if you want the truth and the real information, you need to dig deeper than what you see at face value. Because if you look up 15-minute cities, you're going to see nothing but nice things and great marketing. Because they are actually using the term 15-minute cities mainstream, and they're making it sound like it's a great thing. What it is trading convenience for your freedom. I would love to have a gym or a grocery store, right underneath my apartment. That would be totally convenient. But when it comes along with all types of surveillance cameras everywhere in the building, and they're watching what I'm doing 24/7 and what my kids are doing 24/7, when they're tracking the groceries that I buy with their cameras, and their all types of technology that they have to track things now, and they're basically making it so that I have no need to go anywhere else, because everything I need is right there. It's really scary, because that's how we end up in situations where we're living in a complete dictatorship. People, the government is watching everything that we do. They can control us. They can control our food supply. They can control our electricity. They can control our vehicles when they're forcing us to switch to electric vehicles. They can control where we drive when they start making you need to get a permit to travel outside of your 15-minute city. They can put in these bike lanes and all this green space and right turn only lanes and pedestrian medians to hang out in the middle of the street because you can't cross it or something. I don't know. To congest the traffic and make it undesirable to have a vehicle, because they don't want you to have a vehicle, because they want to be able to keep tabs on you round the clock. So it's like prison with the illusion of freedom. Yes, that is true, Mary. 15-minute cities are like prison. It's like being imprisoned without knowing that you're in prison, because you have the illusion that you're free, right? They say they have commercials. They have a commercial that says, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Okay, so that's like the short and long. I guess I'm like not good at explaining things, I don't think, but that is basically the summary of why they're putting up these developments, is to eventually turn us into 15-minute cities. So I've been against them across the board and trying to educate and spread the word about 15-minute cities to all of these meetings that I go to. And I found out another very interesting thing today that I didn't know about yet. As I said in the candidate forum last night, I have a lot of learning to do when it comes to, I mean, I have a lot of learning to do when it comes to every issue. I will never act like I know it all because I know that I don't, but I have a lot of learning, excuse me, when it comes to what policies are in place for housing, um, and rent and all of the things along those lines. Uh, but I heard about this thing today that is called, let me put Shannon's comment up here so you can read that about 15-minute cities while I pull up this thing. It's called the City of Boston's Compact Living Pilot. I saw a very interesting email that somebody got back. They applied to live in one of these affordable units in one of the new buildings that has gone up recently or is going up. I'm not sure if anybody has moved into this building yet, or they're just taking applications now. So there's a little note on their reply to this person's application. And it says, important, these units fall under the City of Boston's Compact Living Pilot. Residents occupying these units will not be eligible for City of Boston resident parking permits. So, translation, if you want to live here, you can't have a car. And we can, if you want to argue about that it doesn't mean that, that's great because you're delusional. That means you can't have a car if you want to live here, which is what they're trying to do to the entire city. So if you live in Boston, there's a likely chance that you have a resident parking permit, or you at least know that I think most parts of the city residential areas, you have to have a resident permit sticker on your car to park there. Now, this is another one of those things. I don't know when resident permit parking started ever, right? But this is another great example of how we get tricked into screwing ourselves over every time. Every time we get tricked by their marketing and they're making everything sound like it's a great idea when it's not, right? Because when you think of resident permit parking, then it sounds like, well, that's great. That means that like I'm guaranteed parking because I live here, and people who don't live here can't park here, so they can't take up our spots on the street, right? No, wrong. That means if you don't have a resident parking sticker, we're going to continue to ticket you until you do, and possibly tow your car. And you know, if you live here and want to have a vehicle, you have to have a permit, right? So in once again, my personal life experience living here at the place that I live right now, I've been here for a year and a half in this apartment that I'm in right now. Okay. My street is resident parking only. Once a week, BTD would drive right up my street and target my two vehicles. I would get 2 tickets. Like if my cars were here when they came. We're not always here when they come here, so I didn't get a ticket every week. But when the vehicles were here, you best believe I got a ticket, right? one day I was sitting in my car when the person pulled up, and I literally watched them drive down the whole street like at regular speed. Like they weren't slowly driving and checking all the cars. This person like beelined to my car because she knew that she'd get an easy ticket, because she knew that my car wasn't going to have, doesn't have the permit sticker, and there's a ticket, right? She pulled up next to me, saw me sitting in the car, and drove away. I can't tell you how many tickets that I got. Okay. And then the thing is you have to apply for a resident. You can apply online for a resident parking permit to get your sticker. But you can't apply if you have outstanding parking tickets. I'm unemployed. I am on a very small, very fixed income right now. I cannot pay these parking tickets. Okay. So I'm basically shit out of luck. I can't get a resident sticker until these tickets are paid, and I don't have the money to pay these tickets. So I'm going to continue to get ticketed because I don't have the sticker. So it's not, something nice that they did for the residents to make sure that they had parking. It's also a way to punish residents and bring in revenue for people who are too busy, which is most people, to go and apply for their resident sticker, or whatever the case may be. They make it absolutely impossible. So resident stickers are bullshit. Okay. And it basically turns into a punishment. They're going to punish you if you don't have one. They're just going to keep ticketing you, and if you can't pay the tickets, then you can't get the permit. So yeah, so they're saying that to move into one of these units, you will not qualify for a resident permit sticker, which means that you're not going to be able to park in the area. So, I mean, unless you enjoy parking really far away to where it's not resident parking only, which, depending on the neighborhood, it could be very unlikely that there's any open parking near you, then you can't have a car because you don't qualify for a resident sticker, So, and these are affordable units. That's exactly the point. They are affordable units. So this is somebody who already doesn't have enough income to afford market rent. Now they're crippling them even more by telling them you can't have a vehicle if you live here. Like, do you see the fuckery? Okay. We need to stop getting tricked by the language, the language that is literally marketing to make things sound good. And then, once it exists, it's very hard to get rid of. We agree to things and we let things slide, or we think things sound great in the moment. We don't even think twice about the changes that they make, and we haven't for decades. It's just like, this is a little bit off topic, but I just want to say this because it goes along with the trickery. And I was just having this conversation the other day. It's like legalizing marijuana in Massachusetts. Okay. Everybody was all excited, hyped up about it. It was a great thing that was going to happen. Like, let's legalize it. Maybe we can bring down like the number of arrests for possession of weed, because like, who really cares? It's weed, right? A lot of people smoke weed. A lot of people sell weed. Like, let's decriminalize it, right? Sounds great. Passes, they make it a thing. They legalize marijuana. But in the fine print, right there in front of you, that most people probably are not reading or don't care about because they're only focused on the fucking, the main statement, legalizing marijuana, and they're not caring about any language that comes after that. Legalizing marijuana means taxing it, regulating it, controlling where and how it's sold, So, and it even says that like that you're not, that if you grow your own, this is what like the ballot said when people took the vote on the ballot. It says specifically, if you grow your own, you can give up to a certain amount away to somebody, but you're not allowed to sell it to them. You can give your weed away, but it's against the law to give it away and get money in return. Like, are you shitting me? Like, something that I have that I'm going to give to somebody else, you're going to tell me that I can't accept money or any payment in return for giving something of mine away to somebody? And this is what we agree to, because we don't pay attention to the fine print. We listen to the buzzwords and, the selling points and the marketing, and we just fucking run with it. We don't ever pay attention to the details. And this is our biggest fucking downfall. So sorry I sidetracked to the marijuana issue, but like, I just realized that the other day and went and read the ballot question. I was like, oh my God, it was literally on the ballot, all of these details that people did not pay attention to. So back to housing. I want to actually look up this plan and go over it while I'm on here. So just give me 1 second to find it. What did I say it was called? City of Boston. Compact pilot program. Compact living pilot policy. That's what came up on Google. Yes. The Mayor's Housing Innovation Lab. Fabulous. Hold on. Wait, let me look at the comments before I start going over this website. The convenience of a store where you live is nice. Okay. Communist countries refuse to let people visit the next town or city. I've had many people that came from communists tell me this. Yep, me too. I've heard that from people from other countries, from other countries. I'm geographically challenged. I don't remember. Yep, we get tricked by their marketing and lies. A studio was a maximum allowed footage of 450 feet. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go into the thing. Let me share my screen and light a cigarette for this. Okay. Why is it going to look like this? Hold on. Yeah. Is that good? Or maybe that's better. Okay. So let's look here. And this is legit. This is cityofboston.gov. Okay. So you know that this is not like some fake conspiracy theory website or something. Okay. So first of all, it's called the Mayor's Housing Innovation Lab. Okay. There was some quote from Michelle Wu. Please put it in the comments if you remember. She had some quote when she was running for mayor. I feel like somebody told me where she actually referred to Boston as a lab. Please tell me in the comments if you remember what that quote is. Okay, so the city is allowing new buildings to include small, efficient housing units as long as they meet certain requirements. The compact living pilot will help Boston build more homes that are well designed and well located. We want to create living spaces where people have easy access to work and play. Any building that wants to include these smaller units must have well-designed units with storage and natural light, shared common areas, and transportation options that reduce car use. What does this sound like? What does this sound like? It sounds like prison. Schools, which are also like prison, and shelters, homeless shelters, which are also like prison. Smaller units may make living in Boston near jobs and other community spaces more affordable. Convenience, convenience, convenience. About the pilot. The compact living policy is a pilot that will allow City of Boston staff to evaluate the process of the policy. We want to make sure we're meeting our objectives. Okay. Some may assume that the small size means cramped living, but smaller homes can look and feel spacious using good design. 1,000-foot 2-bedroom can be comfortably reduced to 600 square feet. Like, are you shitting me? They want to pack us in like sardines. Like, I feel like I say this in every video and at every meeting, but it's so fucking true. Where can I find that picture, Shannon, that you just showed me of that building? I'm probably going to have to email it to myself and bring it up on here. I want to show that picture. Boston Compact Living Pilot. Look at this whole presentation. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Compact living is a promising model of development in Boston's current housing context. Given the increasing cost of living and expected population growth, compact living units offer a cost and space efficient way of building more units to accommodate growing demand for housing, spurred by lifestyle and demographic changes such as decreasing family size, shifts in household makeup, increasing openness to sharing. Demographic changes such as decreased family size. So let's talk about this. Why is family size decreasing? Because more and more people, childless people who are just here to soak up Boston for like what it's worth, the schools, the like business districts, people who come here for the schools and the like headquarters to all of these major companies and the Cambridge, the big companies that are located here, and the biolabs and all of the medical, Harvard, like all of these things that people from all over the world come to live in Boston because of our education system, our, science. I feel like we're probably one of like the science capitals of the world. Everything happens here. All the ideas are born here. And this is where people come to get indoctrinated. So decreasing family size, because you have a lot of childless people moving in here who have these careers in all of these businesses that are effectively destroying our lives, right? And college students and things like that. So that's why there's a decrease in family size. Shifts in household makeup, decrease in family size, and also the very active and very effective tearing apart of two-parent households that they do in many different ways, with prison and child protective services and all of these things, that these tools that they use to tear our families apart, the opioid crisis. Increasing openness to sharing because it's very, very impossible to live off of one income. So everybody's looking for roommates. Reduced reliance on ownership. Once again, because these are business people and students that are coming to live here, not necessarily families and not necessarily people who plan on living in the city. These are people who plan on buying a home in a suburb or in another state and just renting in Boston because this is where their work is. Alternative family, because they make it very undesirable for families to live here. Alternative family compositions and advances in technology. Many Boston residents are open to smaller living space in exchange for convenience of location and amenities. It says it right there. Trading your freedom in exchange for convenience. Both the BPDA, the Boston Planning and Development, I want to say association, but I'm not 100% sure, and the Inspectional Services Department have seen an increase in the number of development applications proposing smaller units. Compact. This is funny because I actually spoke with a developer at one of these meetings that I went to. And it's a smaller company, local company, not a big corporation, smaller local developer who had a contract with the city a few years ago, so under Walsh, and their contract was for a certain smaller number of units, and then it got built, and when they went to like finalize things and like, you know, be done and, you know, put it up for sale or rent or whatever, the Wu administration basically shut it down and said it needs to be bigger. So it's not, so it's outside developers and contractors. We're giving contracts to people from the outside, from outside of Boston, from outside of Massachusetts, big corporation type development companies, giving contracts to them to come in and build these massive developments. We're not putting money back into the community by giving the contracts to local developers. We're working with the big guys. So it's not that so the big guys are probably proposing smaller units, but the people who are proposing smaller developments with capacity and what's the word I'm looking for? Like area with room to have bigger units but smaller buildings are getting denied. The city's telling them that's not big enough because we need this much, you know, and they make it sound like a good thing to the residents and voters because they say, you know, we need to require them to have this much affordable housing. So hold on one second. Let me check my comments to see if I'm ignoring people. Hold on. So we got, yes, exactly, Shannon. The Mayor's Housing Innovation Lab, a lab, which is for experiments. Yes, 15-minute cities. The progress of communism in Boston. Wu copying China, small compact housing, jam more bodies in. Right, like I said, they're turning us into Hong Kong. Or if you want to be more local, New York City, right? Just mount your furniture on the walls for more floor space, which if you go look at videos at these tiny homes that they have in probably like Hong Kong and other countries, they have their beds that go up into the wall and couches, and they have like lofts above their kitchen, and like that's the bedroom, you know, like something that reminds me of like a resort type, like, you know, when you go to stay at a resort and you have like an apartment type hotel room, like that's what it reminds me of. Like the loft above the kitchen is where the bedroom is. Wu doesn't care about anything. She is packing them in. That's why they took over the Comfort Inn, Dorchester, and the Ramada. The Ramada too. Now Adams Corner has homeless walking through the streets endlessly, slash needles all over our parks. Really? I didn't know Adams Corner was bad like that yet. I knew it was getting there. And the Kenny School had a homeless tent there. It's like every time I talk about this, I find out something else about the Kenny School. Are you kidding me? Yeah, 15-minute cities, exactly. Yeah, so this is what they're doing to Boston. So for anybody who just joined, since I've been looking at this website, I was talking about somebody that I heard about that applied for a unit in one of these new buildings, and they were told, it says on the email that they got back, I'm going to read it again because I see that there's more people in here than there were the last time I read it. It says, important. Where did it go? Important. These units fall under the City of Boston's Compact Living Pilot. Residents occupying these units will not be eligible for City of Boston resident parking permits, which basically means if you want to live here, you can't have a vehicle because you're not going to be able to park it. You know, to make that story short, because I already went and overanalyzed the parking permit situation. Hold on. So I was just going through the guidelines, and then I'm realizing now that my screen wasn't even showing. So you're just looking at this stupid screen. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me get back what I was just looking at. This one, the guidelines. Okay, you can see me now. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so this is what I was looking at for the past 5 minutes that I was reading to you, and I didn't realize that you couldn't see what I was seeing. Okay, so this is the guidelines now, and it says right in here, like I said, we are trading our freedom for convenience. And it says it right in here, exchange to many Boston residents are open to smaller living space in exchange for convenience of location and amenities. Okay. The City of Boston's past work in the area of compact living has demonstrated the demand for, interest in, and feasibility of this kind of lifestyle. A citywide tour of 385 square foot model compact unit called the Urban Housing Unit generated feedback about compact living from 2,000 community members. The Housing Innovation Competition solicited creative proposals for compact affordable units, facilitating development of new ideas and collaboration among developers, designers, and community members. The data and lessons collected from these efforts have been incorporated into the compact living policy and guidelines to ensure that compact units will meet the needs of Boston residents. And the thing is, they say that it's new ideas and collaboration among developers, designers, and community members. Which community members are they talking about? All right, because any family household doesn't have time to go to meetings and talk about things like this. So what community members are they talking about? They're talking about the college students that are not from here. They're talking about the people that are just here for their career or their education and are either renting in the city and buying a house in the suburbs somewhere, or that don't even plan on settling in Boston or Massachusetts. They're just here for this chapter in their career or this part of their education, because all of these people come here to get the greatest education in the world, right? The Compact Living Pilot was adopted by the BPDA board in October 2018 for 2 years. In November 2020, the pilot was extended for another 2 years and is set to expire in December 2022. Who is Compact Living for? Oh, young professionals, empty nesters, small families. Oh, look, small families, single mom right here, and older adults. Compact living as a housing type responds to shifting housing trends and demonstrated interest of many Boston residents in their communities by accommodating a diversity of users. So what this shows you right here, like these little pictures, let me see. I can't even point to it, whatever. Those little pictures of the people right there, that's basically telling you who they want to live here. They don't want the successful American family. They don't want two-parent families. They want single parents who probably are not going to have more kids, or that will be dependent likely on the government if they're not making an immaculate income. And if they are making an immaculate income and they have kids, then their kids are going to be, ushered off into the mandatory pre-K that they're going to be ushering in. So, kids are going to start being required to start school in pre-K, and public school is going to go from pre-K to 12th grade, or I think they're actually, I feel like Boston is starting some pilot program for like 13th grade. I feel like I heard that somewhere, but I'll find that information for another show. So, you're ushering your small children into their indoctrination and grooming centers, right? AKA public schools, or schools for that matter, because even charters and private schools, newsflash, get government funding. So they still have rules and regulations that they have to comply with per the government. So hate to break it to you, the charter schools and the private schools are headed in the same direction as the public schools. Homeschool, period. Pull your kids out. So compact living units are ideal for residents looking for affordable homes with easy access to transit, amenities, and services they need and enjoy. Studio and one-bedroom units can often cater to young professionals, yuppies, and graduate students. These units are also ideal for those who may be looking to downsize, such as empty nesters and retirees, or people with disabilities who benefit from increased affordability and proximity to services that meet their needs. So once again, 15-minute cities, making sure that every single thing that you could ever possibly need is within a 15-minute radius of your home, so you never have to go anywhere, and they can watch you and control everything that you do, surveil you 24/7, control your food supply, control where you go, control your everything. Compact living is also a great mechanism for allowing existing residents of a community to have more affordable or space efficient options in their neighborhood. Compact housing of all unit sizes is meant to attract a wide diversity of residents. No, it's not. It's meant to attract the little cartoons in that picture right there. Including growing families with young children that may be seeking more affordable 2 or 3 bedroom units. Which actually, on that note, going back to subsidies and housing vouchers that I also was talking about earlier, and like I said, I know from experience because I have Section 8, and I've had subsidies in the past, and I've lived in homeless shelters with my kids in the past. As far as I know, what it used to be with housing vouchers and subsidies was that once a child is 8 years old, you can't have a boy and a girl sleeping in the same bedroom. Once they hit 8 years old, they have to be in separate bedrooms, right? Not anymore. Apparently now, what it is that the same gender, regardless of age, can sleep in the same bedroom. So, I'm just going to use my family composition as an example because it's easiest for me to talk about, because my father lives with me. So because I have my father, myself, and my 2 children that are a boy and a girl, and one is over 8, right? But that apparently doesn't matter anymore. I was under the impression that I qualified for 4 bedrooms because my father, myself, and my 2 boy and girl, right? 4 people. And if instead of my father, I lived with a boyfriend or the father of my children or whatever, then yeah, 3 bedrooms, right? Because me and my significant other would be in the same bedroom. But I don't qualify for a 4-bedroom. I only qualify for a 3-bedroom. So I thought, okay, maybe once my son turns 8, then I'll qualify for a 4-bedroom because 8 is the cutoff age for kids of different genders to be in the same room. No, I found out just a couple weeks ago that I only qualify for a 3-bedroom because same gender, regardless of age, can be in the same room. So basically, they're telling me that I can have my daughter sleep in the room with me, share a bedroom with me, or have my son share a bedroom with my father. What? If I actually lived in New York in 2021, so I took my voucher there with me. And in New York, upstate New York, anyway, not New York City, in upstate New York, I qualified for a bedroom. But then when I come back here, I only qualify for a 3-bedroom. Okay, so let me move on here. How big is a compact living unit? Studio, 450 square feet, 1 bedroom, 600 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 750 square feet, 3 bedroom, 950 square feet. Increased affordability. Encouraging creative design to promote housing affordability is a major goal of Mayor Walsh's Housing Boston 2030 plan. So when they call this Housing Boston 2030 plan, this is just another name for Agenda 2030. So for anybody who thinks that people trying to spread awareness about Agenda 2030, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's right here. It just has many different names and classifications, but this is Mayor Walsh's Housing Boston 2030 because the plan is for the entire world to be completely different than the world we know as of 2030. And it's not a conspiracy theory. Reduced unit size allows for the creation of more units overall, including more inclusionary development policy units. IDP, which is something that we talked about in the candidate forum last night. Okay. Diversifying the housing stock for individuals and roommates will alleviate market pressure on family style homes. And also, actually, I want to go back to the fact that this was written in what, 2018, I think it said, right? So this is titled Mayor Walsh's Housing 2030 Plan. First of all, this plan doesn't come from none of these plans come from the mayors. Okay. There's people way above them that are making these decisions. This is a global effort here. Michelle Wu is not working from her own mind. Marty Walsh is not working from his own mind. Marty Walsh didn't create this. Michelle Wu, who's the one that's executing it, it's not her decision. It's not his decision. So, anybody who says, I wish we never lost Marty Walsh, or I wish we got, Anissa Sabi George or Kim Janey, or it doesn't matter who it is. These plans were happening and are happening. So whoever's executing the plan, it doesn't really matter. Increasing the number and type of affordable units in the city is the primary objective, but these units should still function for a diversity of users. Where significantly greater affordability is provided, some flexibility in the guidelines may be tolerated. Build community. Proposed projects with compact living units should aspire to facilitate community building and cohesion on both a building and neighborhood scale. All projects with compact living units should include shared spaces that provide a physical setting for the common use and incorporate programming and design that encourage people to connect. Like within your building, though. They don't want you to talk to anybody outside. Just like I was talking about in a neighborhood meeting that I went to tonight. They have effectively used our tight-knit, I don't like to say the word communities. They've effectively used our tight-knit neighborhoods of Boston as a weapon against us because each neighborhood is not, communicating with the next neighborhood. So you have like things that are huge issues in West Roxbury that, people in Dorchester don't even know about. Things that are huge issues in Dorchester that people in Roxbury don't even know about. Things that are huge issues in Charlestown that people in Mattapan don't know about. It's like from one neighborhood to the next, every group of people, every neighborhood, every civic association, every neighborhood association, all of these people that are like fighting something or another. Because let me tell you, I have been throughout most of the neighborhoods so far. Everybody is upset with the Wu administration. Everybody across the board, not just conservatives, not just Republicans, not just anti-vaxxers, people on the left, people from all walks of life, for one reason or another, are upset with the Wu administration. And this is the thing. They are taking advantage of the fact that the different neighborhoods don't communicate with each other. Okay. And this is on purpose. This is by design. Okay. Promote sustainability. Compact living units promote environmental and social sustainability in new residential development. Construction of compact units requires less energy and construction waste per unit, as the overall square footage of each unit is smaller. Additionally, the compact living policy incentivizes use of public transit over single occupancy vehicle trips. There you go. They don't want you to have a car. The policy aims to increase diversity of Boston's housing stock. Contribute to social sustainability by alleviating market pressure on family-style dwellings and homes, which are largely occupied by individuals and roommates. Which could be true because it's so unaffordable that people are packing in these beautiful, ginormous houses with a bunch of college roommates because no family can afford to pay $5,000 a month for like the apartment that I live in right now. They want $3,400 a month. It's a 4-bedroom. It's a beautiful apartment. No family can afford to pay that. If I didn't live here, it'd be it would be 4 college students living here if I didn't live here with my Section 8. Compact living units promote environmental, support creativity. The compact living guidelines are flexible. They intend to encourage developers and designers' creativity and innovation to ensure that proposed projects meet the needs of Boston residents. The guidelines are not meant to be prescriptive, and we encourage solutions beyond those previously tested. No, they don't. They're going to act like they do. They act like they care about your opinion, but they don't. Okay. The City of Boston's compact, just so you know, this is the first time that I'm looking at this guideline thing. I just learned today about the compact living policy, even though, like, obviously I know about the 15-minute cities, I know about Agenda 2030, and I know about what's going on with all the development, but this is the first time that I'm reading it on boston.gov. Okay. The City of Boston's compact living policy applies to new developments of 10 or more residential units. Proposed compact living projects must comply with the compact living guidelines in order to ensure appropriate quality of life for residents of compact living units. The compact living guidelines provide standard principles and requirements for unit interiors, shared spaces, and transportation for proposed projects with any unit smaller than the maximum square footage thresholds. Studio maximum unit size, we already went through that. Prepare and submit a new project application that includes a completed compact living project checklist. Okay, so this is what the developers have to do. I also need to look at the inclusionary development policy. Here we are, IDP. Developers creating 10 or more units financed by the city on city or BPDA land and or requiring zone relief must comply with the IDP, the Inclusionary Development Policy. To address the unique character of compact living projects, the following policies will apply. Income restricted rents/sales prices. Rents and sales prices are 90% of the standard rent/sales price for each bedroom type. Where a co-living suite is being created, each bedroom is treated as a SRO. Oh, I just saw somebody mention this in the comments, a single room occupancy unit. So it's like a roommate situation. Amenity package. Amenity packages for income restricted units are prorated at discount and are calculated based on the discount between market and affordable rents. In condominiums, condominium fees are also prorated based on the sales price compared to the market rate sales prices. Unit dispersion. As with developments of standard size units, income restricted units must be spread throughout the building. In co-living suites, all bedrooms within a single suite may be income restricted. So, I mean, this is on boston.gov. This is called the City of Boston's Compact Living Pilot. I'll share this on my social media tomorrow. I might come back to it in a minute, but I'm going to come over here and check out the comments to make sure that I'm not like ignoring anybody. Dr. Fauci solved the housing issues. Yeah, I think so. I think he did. Wu is destroying Boston in front of our faces. It's not only Mass and Cass, I'm assuming. It's the trains, Andrew Square, the Boston Commons, Dorchester South Bay, etc. The homeless and addicts. It's spreading across the city. The Boston City Council members refuse to mention this. Silence. They're working with Wu's agenda to demolish Boston. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that most of them realize that that's what they're doing. I think that they're just concerned about their job and their public image and keeping their job. I will say that Erin Murphy cares. I know that she cares, but I'm going to need her to be more assertive and speak up more because I don't know how much information she knows, but I know that she does care and she does have good intentions. So we need more from her. She's the only one so far, I think. I mean, other than Frank Baker, but Frank Baker's gone after this year. So sad. That has, kind of gone against the grain. So, I mean, I lose hope for her more and more, but I mean, she's the only one that seems to get it even the tiniest bit. So, I will mention that, I guess. Can you give another overview summary for people tuning in late? Well, now there's less viewers, so I don't know if I don't know. Does anybody need an overview? I don't know who's watching. I can't like see who's watching. I can only see the number of people. So, did anybody miss the beginning that wants me to give another summary of how this conversation started and why we got to boston.gov? Yeah, moving off the grid. Yeah. The Amish had it right the whole time. Julia voted against the protesting ordinance. Are we saying that because I said Erin Murphy? Erin Murphy also voted against the protesting ordinance. So did Kendra Lara and Frank Baker. But I also will say, I think that Julia Mejia does have good intentions. I think that she just isn't in tune with what's actually happening. She is misinformed, I guess. Or she just hasn't heard the things that need to be heard yet. That's what I say about her. I don't love Julia Mejia, but I don't think that she's the worst one. Julia and Kendra voted against the ordinance to cover herself down the road. Yeah, except that Kendra Lara is different. Kendra Lara is like I have no faith in her to do the right thing at all. And I mean, honestly, like, as long as we have people that are going to continue to race bait and make every single issue about race and keep people distracted from these things that are actually happening, then none of them are any good. And yes, Kendra and Julia both voted no on the ordinance because of the possibility of it having unintended consequences. But like I say, and will keep saying, when it comes to the First Amendment, we need to protect it across the board. It doesn't matter who you are. When there's a First Amendment issue, when the government in any way, shape, or form is threatening anybody's First Amendment rights or violating anybody's First Amendment rights, I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, a conservative, a liberal, a fucking communist, socialist, libertarian, Rainbow Party. It doesn't matter what your politics are. The First Amendment is literally, it's the First Amendment for a reason. It is the most important. It is the only thing that guarantees us our freedom. If we lose the First Amendment, which the First Amendment is already being criminalized across the state, we've been watching it happen across the country. It barely exists, honestly. This video is probably going to get taken down or deleted because I'm saying too much, right? If we lose the First Amendment, we lose freedom, period. If you cannot have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble, hello? How are you going to spread awareness about issues that are happening if you're being silenced? How are you going to air your grievances to the government? You can't. You're watching it happen. Like, you watched us get arrested peacefully protesting. You've watched other people get arrested peacefully protesting. You watched the city council vote a 9-4 vote in favor of passing a self-serving ordinance for this mayor who had to deal with nothing but a very small group of people yelling shame on Wu in front of her house once or twice a week. That's what she was getting, and she couldn't handle that much. So she criminalized our free speech. And 9 of our city councilors agreed to criminalize our free speech and effectively silence us. 9 of them. Okay. Michael Flaherty and Rusi Louis-Jean. 2 candidates for Boston City Council at large that were perfectly fine and happy to criminalize the First Amendment in Boston. And don't forget Tanya Fernandez Anderson, who I actually like and get along with. I think that she's a good person. I also think that she has good intentions, and I kind of hold her and Julia at the same level. They're not the worst, but I don't think that they have heard and been exposed to the information that they need to be exposed to. Tanya Fernandez Anderson voted to pass the ordinance. That's very, very disappointing. So, although I like her as a person, she's been very kind to me personally. Your personality and your friendliness has nothing to do, very little to do with the way that you do your job. And on that note, Padma Scott for District 7 instead of Tanya Fernandez Anderson. Sorry. Tanya and Julia too racist, straight up. Like I said, I think that they're very misled and that they've been shown to believe a lot of information that is a distraction, and they haven't seen the information that they should be seeing. I think that genuinely, I don't think that Tanya Fernandez Anderson is racist. I think that she says a lot of things that sound racist, and if you don't care to dig and don't care to look any deeper than the surface, then you probably think that she's racist. But I have had personal interactions with her, and I don't think that she's racist. Julia Mejia, on the other hand, not so sure about that. My personal interactions with Julia Mejia have not been fabulous. They've been very much less than fabulous. But like I said, she's not my least favorite. So that's that. I said Erin was the only one going against the grain because she's done a lot of advocating, and her and Frank Baker were the first ones to question the public health emergency last year when nobody else would or cared about it at all. It was Erin and Frank. So that's why I said Erin was the only one going against the grain. Yeah. So let me scroll through this a little bit more to see if there's anything else like super alarming on here. Shared space layout and management plan, walking distance to transit analysis. Hold on. Shared space guidelines. Go Boston. All of this. Go Boston 2030 and Imagine Boston 2030 plans. Set ambitious goals. So these are things that you want to look up. You want to look up Marty Walsh's I forgot what it was called. Marty Walsh's fucking 2030 plan. Go Boston 2030 and Imagine Boston 2030. Set ambitious goals to substantially grow the number of Boston residents walking, biking, using public transit, and carpooling to work. To help reach this goal, the city has developed the following transportation demand management guidelines, which propose projects with compact living units are required to implement. These guidelines will help reduce overall cost of living for residents while minimizing potential congestion that could result from increased density. Which is why I keep going to these meetings and try to tell people we literally want to stop all major development. Like, we need to put a hard stop on it. I don't know. Like, I'm probably gonna get like I'm gonna be hated, of course, for saying that. I'm hated for a lot of things, and the hate is gonna grow. Like, I'm fine with that. But development needs to stop. We can't fit any more people. It already takes an hour to get to Boston from Boston. Almost at any point during the day. So we have enough people. If you want to work in Boston, go live in the suburbs. We need to take care of the people that are here, and we need to take care of the people that have been displaced here, and we need to take care of the people that are literally sleeping in tents on the street here, before we worry about the college students and the yuppies coming in to rent these tiny homes. we need to take care of the people that are from here and the people that have been displaced here, period. On-site childcare. Oh, God. Assigned point values grouped into 4 value categories. This is the resident parking permit. Oh, wait. Resident parking permit. To minimize impact on street parking, residents of compact living projects will not be allowed to obtain neighborhood residential permit parking stickers. Developers of projects with compact living units must notify prospective residents about the inability to obtain residential parking permits prior to the signage of a lease or purchase of a unit. TDM measures identified below are assigned point values grouped into 4 value categories. Proposed projects are required to implement sufficient measures to meet their assigned point total. Bike share station, unbundled parking, charged at market rate. What does that mean? Shuttle bus service open to public, subsidized transit for residents, 50% subsidy in perpetuity, and on-site childcare. And so that means if there's on-site childcare, then that means that that's also obviously paid for and dealt with by City Hall, right? I assume by the city taxpayers, because you can't guarantee it unless you're supplying it. It's like you get more points the more dependent you make your tenants or buyers or whatever. Yeah, so I mean this years and years of work has gone into making these plans, and like I honestly challenge you to go look up compact living and just type in any random city in the country, and I bet you they'll have a plan just like this. Yeah, it's amazing. It needs to stop. We need to put a stop to it. And we can all sit online and complain all day, every day. We can talk shit. We can expose our elected officials for their hypocrisy and call them out for the things that they're doing that are violating our basic human rights. But that's not going to make any changes. So, yeah. So that's how I feel about housing in the city. And I know it's late, but I feel like there was something else that I wanted to talk about. Not extensive, but I feel like I wanted to say something, and now I can't remember. So it must not have been important. People need to get active. Active everywhere, and I know that a lot of the people that follow me on here or watching this don't live in Boston, but Boston's going to set the precedent for everywhere else. So we need your help in Boston just as much as we need you to be doing work in your own place that you live. So, you know, like I have tons of ideas of how things can be done, but I'm only one person, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Boston and everywhere else. So, I don't know. That's what I want to talk about tonight, the housing, the fact that if you're going to live in one of these affordable units, then you can't have a vehicle. So, not only do you not make enough income to live in a place more comfortable, bigger, better suited to your needs, but you can't have a vehicle. So they just want to limit you and pack us all in like sardines. And yeah, so I'm exhausted. Had a very long day today, and I will be having a very long day tomorrow. So I'm gonna get off here in a minute. I just want to say again that I'm running for Boston City Council at large, and so is Sean Nelson. And hopefully soon we'll be able to say that Padma Scott is on the ballot for District 7. And I definitely need help with my campaign. All three of us are running our own campaigns. We are the actual definition of grassroots. We will be doing all the work ourselves with probably very limited funds, because obviously we don't have any type of party backing or, you know, machine behind us, except for ourselves and the activists that we've been working with for the past year and a half. So, you know, definitely, I have my website now. I know that Sean's working on his website, and I'm sure we'll have one for Padma when she's on the ballot. So we definitely need help getting donations. And you know, Padma and Sean both work full time, and I'm unemployed, so we don't really have personal funds that we can invest into our campaigns. So donations will be how we are buying the supplies and materials needed to run successful campaigns. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can help us get donations. I have it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You can go to my website, vitaliforboston.com, and sign up to help volunteer with the campaign, the elections in November. So there'll be plenty of things to do for anybody who wants to volunteer throughout the next 4 months. And if nothing else, regardless of where you're located, you can help us get donations. There's a donation link on the front page of the website, and I will be making social media accounts on all social media platforms for my campaign this week, and I will have donation links on there. And you're probably in the coming weeks going to see a lot of me asking for donations, because it is not cheap to run a campaign, and we're going to need help, all three of us. So Boston, vote Sean Nelson, Padma, and Catherine Teresa for Boston City Council. Boston, vote smart this time. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna be planning some events. We're gonna be doing probably a lot of you know, planning and being outside and talking to people and door knocking and all kinds of stuff like that. So we will need volunteers to come out and help us distribute things, help us you know, put together campaign events and stuff like that. So, you know, if you have any free time at all and care, about the future of the city, or I mean the future of the world, I guess, uh, come, please help us in any way you can. And if you don't live close, then please just share the website, vitallyforboston.com, share the donation link that you can get off of the website. Anything will help. And that goes for all three of us. We're not we're not looking to, I mean, some people have tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in their campaign accounts. We're not looking to bring in money like that. We're just looking to cover the materials that we need to buy for campaign. So, people, I don't know that, like, why so much crazy money is spent on campaigns. But I mean, a lot of money is necessary, yes, but not to the crazy extents that some people go. It's insane how much money gets poured into political campaigns. I can't even believe it. But yeah, so I'm going to go to bed now. And thank you guys for watching. I will definitely be doing this live show at 10 p.m. At least once a week. I'll try to get on as much as possible, but I will commit to at least once a week. And probably be talking about, the issues that are happening in Boston or the meetings that I'm attending in Boston. I mean, I feel like there's like at least 5 new things every day that I learn about that I'm like, alert the presses. Like we need everybody to know this right this second. And the internet is definitely not the most successful place for me to be spreading this information anyway, because like I said, most of my connections and followers on here aren't even in the Boston area. So another thing you could do to help is share these videos so that they can get seen by people in Boston. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for the engagement and the comments. And I will let you guys know when I'll be back on again. Have a good night.